What is happening, guys? I thought I'd do a little video on trying to work out who is the greatest of all time when it comes to mountain biking, seeing as the World Cup's just kicked back off this weekend in Poland and Brun got the win. Now, I feel like he's very well and truly on his way to being up around that conversation of GOAT status, but it got me thinking, who else should be up in that conversation? Now, I think it's pretty obvious for most people that there's two people that normally bounce around the top of that conversation. Nikos Voulios was, I guess, renowned as the best World Cup racer, World Champs racer of his time, with 10 World Championships, 7 elite and 3 juniors. Now, that alone kind of separated him from everyone else because everyone else had World Cup wins, but no one had that many World Championship wins and just back to back to back. Now, he had 16 World Cup wins, but he was always focused more on the World Championships than the World Cups. So that's where it gets a bit tricky because then you compare that up against Greg Menard, who has got 4 World Championship wins, but then 23 World Cup wins, and that is the most of all time. If you just add them together as just being race wins, and you say World Champs are worth more, you have Nico, who has a total of, 26 race wins, including World Cups and World Championships, where Greg Menard has 27. Yes, not all of them are World Championships, but there's still more. You've still done top that podium one more time. Whether it's a World Champs or a World Cup, you've still done it more. And he's had over 80 World Cup podiums in his career, spanning over a 20-year career. Now, he's known as the GOAT because of those 23 World Cup wins. And I think just the time period he did it through as well. Like, he's been racing through. He raced against Nico, he raced against the next generation, and he raced against my generation. And he got World Cup wins and podiums that whole time. So to be someone that has done it from almost the start to then where we are now and has got World Cup podiums and win all the way through, it's hard to argue that Greg would be the GOAT. Now coming into Super Bruni has 5 World Championship wins and 11 World Cup wins and counting. So he's still going. He's still building and obviously could be more in that conversation. It's going to be hard to top the 23 World Cup wins. He's still only halfway there, and I don't think his career is going to go into his 40s like Greg did. So it's going to be a hard one to beat, but I definitely can see him possibly matching. See, I'm even thinking about this now, like how you determine where someone stacks up on the greatest of all time, especially with how much the sport has been elevated and Loic still keeps showing up and keeps on winning. The notable mentions here of people that you could say would be in that conversation as well would be Steve Peat, who's got 17 World Cup wins and he's got 1 World Championship win, which happened in Canberra. I guess just for that, he was a person that should have more World Championship wins, but for whatever reason couldn't get it done on the day and was one of those guys that you knew could do it, but just for whatever reason couldn't get it done. Just kind of like the next guy on the list, which would also be a person you consider as up there as greatest of all time, was was Aaron Gwyn, which surprisingly has not got 1 World Championships win, which was kind of like Petey. It was like this curse of being good enough, but just not being able to do it for whatever reason, whether it's a mechanical, a flat tire, a crash, whatever it may be. But he had 20 World Cup wins, and I think a lot of the people thought that he was going to overtake Greg. And I thought that he was going to overtake Greg with how quickly he was stacking up these wins. Like, he got 6 in one season. Like, it was just ridiculous, the progression that he had where he just leveled up. And from 2011, 12, I think 10, 11, 12, he was just dominated every single race. And it was like, who's getting second this weekend was pretty much what everyone thought. So then to go to that, to having injuries and having issues come up and then not quite finding that form again, I don't know if he'll ever win a World Cup again, let alone 3 to 4 to get ahead of Greg. Another notable mention would be Danny Hart. I don't think he's quite at that same level as obviously like your Menards, your Gwyns, he's kind of on par with Gwyn in some ways, but he's got 2 World Championships, 2011, 2016. Obviously the one in 2011 when he won by 14 seconds, like that's got to count for something. If you beat the field by over 10 seconds, that's got to be almost like a double win in a way. He has 7 World Cup wins to his name and has been seen as one of the probably wildest riders of a generation and one of the people that do just put it all on the line. And I think just for raw excitement, that has something as well. Also, I can't leave this guy out. This was a guy that motivated me to get into mountain biking or stay or push myself in mountain biking. But Sam Hill would be up in the GOAT status for sure. He has 2 World Championships win in 2006 and 2007. Should have had more, head issues, head crashes. Obviously, the Valvasol one and then Hafiel one. He should have 4 there, but fastest guy until the bottom split and then has a crash and it all ends. So unlucky there. He has 13 World Cup wins, but I think for all-out speed and being able to throw everything at it, it's hard to look past him. He definitely changed the sport and showed people what was possible on a bike. But I've always been so fascinated if you got Sam Hill in his prime, Greg Menard in his prime, Aaron Gwyn in his prime, Danny, like if you got them all in like the best version of who they are, who is actually the fastest. I'm going to throw Anne-Marie Piron in there as well because I feel it's so hard to look past the just raw speed. Like, yes, you might have more titles because you're a better racer, but for all-out speed, who is the fastest mountain biker that has ever kind of lived? And I think it would be between Anne-Marie, Gwyn, Sam. I'm going to say probably those 3 guys. Like, even though Loic and Greg have won more championships, and even Nico, for like all-out speed, someone that can go faster than anyone else on a bicycle, I think it would have to be, between Anne-Marie, Sam, and Aaron. I think those 3 guys could just find a way to find another gear. Like, but who would be the fastest out of those 3, all on the same kind of, in their prime, same track, everything's whatever it may be, who would go the fastest? So I want to know what you guys think out of those 3, who would win in their prime and who would be the best. But going again, like most championships was obviously Nico Vulio's, most wins was Menard. This is ChatGPT. Most clutch was Bruni, most stylish was Sam, most groundbreaking was Gwyn, and most loved was Petey. So I can kind of see that. Maybe not groundbreaking for Gwyn. I think probably Sam was almost more groundbreaking. But yeah, like I said, it's like for all that speed, who do you think is the fastest outright ever? And who do you think's the GOAT? I'm interested to know, but for me, I can't look past Sam. He's definitely at the top of the list for me for just, I guess, being a little bit biased, being from Australia. He motivated me the most, but maybe Sam, Anne-Marie, Gwyn for all-out speed, for just going faster than anyone else. I think those are my 3, but they bounce between. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and find out who your GOAT is. Thanks, guys.